the type of videos we come across on TikTok. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So as a person who watches our TikTok videos so that you don't have to, I came across a video of a palm color man who posted a video not talking to black people but his fellow palm color people. He said what many of them are afraid to admit, that the hate for black people isn't just a random thing, that it is intentional and at its roots a kind of jealousy, I can say, a fear, a deep discomfort with a strength, culture, and the resilience that our black communities embody. He went further, boldly calling it out for what it is. We've made black folks our enemies, he said, for no reason at all, and that this is on us to fix it. But it didn't stop there. I came across another clip, another palm color man admitting to something many of them are afraid to admit. We've been taught the worst things about black folks, he admitted, and that deep down we are afraid that they might treat us the way we've treated them over the years. Let that sink in. So this isn't just a revelation for black Americans. I mean, this is everywhere, but I know and I believe that what you guys experience as black Americans is extreme, and I'm sorry about that. This mindset, this fear, this misinformation exists across borders. This is a global issue showing how black people are treated all over the world. So the question is, what are we going to do with this truth after watching this clip? So please be mindful of the comments that you're going to be leaving. We don't want our comments to be flagged by YouTube, right? Yeah, so let's watch this.
Today, it's been on my mind is the amount of trauma that our culture creates and recreates and recreates and recreates. And I just think about it, right? In order for us to be in this state where we're always in competition, stemming from this Greco-Roman European mindstruct that there's not enough resources on the planet, so we're always in competition. And in order to be in competition, I need to create an enemy, even when there is none. So black folks have always been our enemy because they are the ones that understand the abundance of life. They live a village to raise a child. That is a sharing community full of love and enjoyment, and we didn't have that. We don't have that connection coming from where we come from. That's sad, but because of it, we feel traumatized. We're weaponized in our trauma to hate somebody, to see somebody else's success as an enemy to us, to see someone else living in a land that has resources that we seek as an enemy to us. We create that enemy. We don't have to be enemies with black folks. They have shown us love and are waiting to show us more love when we finally stop this mental trauma game of thinking we're in competition and they are our enemy. And we do it with brown folks, right? We do it with indigenous cultures and aboriginal cultures all over the planet. Wherever we have gone, we have caused harm instead of appreciated the love that we were shown. And that's a trauma brain response. When you don't know how to receive love because you don't trust it and you have to create an enemy where there is none, it is a trauma brain response. So when I speak about the need for repairing the harm that we have caused others, it is also so that we can learn our own humanity and break down and tear down these walls of our own trauma-brained response as white folks. And no, I'm not asking anybody to feel sorry for us.
So I grew up in apartheid South Africa as a English-speaking white boy. I only became politically conscious when I was already 18 years of age, because prior to that, I had been subjected to and sucked in this incredible propaganda of victimization of the white people, where every piece of news, every message we were getting, every joke, the butt of every joke was the stupidity of the black man, the inability of the black man to look after himself, never mind the country, to be ignorant, uneducated, break everything he touched. The messaging was that all violence was black violence, that all crime was black crime, that you had to fear black people. And a huge amount of that fear was that if we let them into the political process, into the governance of the country, that they would do to us exactly what we had done to them for decades, which would be to turn around and oppress us, to murder us, to take our stuff, to move into our houses. There was a very popular story that the ANC, prior to the 94 election, when it was still an illegal organization and Nelson Mandela was still in jail, and the armed wing was exiled to Zambia and Mozambique, Umkhonto we Sizwe, was that they promised all of our domestic servants that those servants would be given the house they worked in when the ANC ruled. And these stories were told amongst the whites to bolster our resolve never to let these black people run our country. And it was only when I became conscious of that from 18 onwards that I realized not only was this a terrible lie that was actually oppressing us as well as the people that we as a white nation, white minority, were oppressing, but that actually what happened subsequently from 1994 onwards was far more of a reflection of the nature of black South Africans than any fears we as white South Africans had been fed and believed, right? And I see direct parallels with what's happening in Palestine and Israel. We've been fed this bullshit of Israel as victim, of the Zionist government as defending, this idea that the entire Arab world wanted to wipe them off the map, when in fact, prior to the Nakba, prior to Palestine being given to Israel by the colonial powers, primarily Britain, many Jews lived very happily and harmoniously alongside Muslims and Christians within that region. They weren't oppressed there. They became the oppressor through the Zionist ambition of a few Israelis. White government for many, many years in South Africa needed the violence of Umkhonto we Sizwe. They needed the bomb to go off. They needed attacks because it justified the further repression. And I've told stories about when I was in the South African Defence Force in 1987-88, 88-89. The things that were done by the intelligence service to undermine the ANC and other liberation struggles and to pit black against black, to distract black people from action against the oppressive minority and the history of oppression. And it's time to step aside from what we've been told and look at the truth, look at the reality, look at the history, educate ourselves and make a moral judgment.
Okay, so let's talk about this. And let's be real. Not for a second, forever. We're going to be talking about this for a long time. So palm color people have caused so much trauma to black Americans. That's not an opinion. That's just facts backed by history, lived experiences, and generational pain. And because of that, it's palm color people who need to fix this point blank period. Okay, yes, it's encouraging to see some palm color people stepping up, educating each other and calling out the systems they benefited from, they benefit from, still benefiting. It's refreshing, necessary, and yeah, of course powerful. But at the same time, it's wild how many TikTok videos I still come across showing palm color people being blatantly racism towards black people. So while the apologies and the We Are Learning Now videos are out there, and sure, some of them feel sincere, there's still a whole lot of hate being pushed out at the same time. So let's not pretend the problem is solved just because a few of them are speaking up. The truth is black folks, black Americans are some of the most loving, welcoming, vibrant people. Black people in general are very much loving. Okay, anywhere you go, you'll find the black communities showing love, spreading joy, creating culture and lifting each other up, even in the face of everything that's been done to them. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying there aren't black people who hold prejudices. Of course there are. There are black people who are what white people can call racist. Okay, But let's be honest about where that comes from. You know, a lot of it, it's because it's rooted in trauma, in the pain passed down from generation to generation. You know, in the stories they grew up hearing about what was done to their ancestors. And let's not forget the racism that still exists right now in their schools, in their neighborhoods, in their workplaces, and online. And honestly, I don't even like to call it racism when it's coming from, you know, a black person, you know, a sister, a brother, because I don't believe black people can actually be racist in the same way. You can disagree, but please don't argue with me on that. Go look it up, okay? So racism is tied up to power, systems, and control. That's never been in black folks' hands historically. And I repeat, historically. So yeah, this new wave of awareness from palm color people looks good. Yeah, it sounds good, but only time will tell if it's actually genuine or if it's just another trend, something that's popular to care about until it's not, you know. And with that being said, I mean, I've got a lot to say about this video, but I think I'm gonna give a chance to all of you because I really want to hear your thoughts on this. Like, yeah, whatever you're going to say on this, drop it in the comment section down below. Let's talk about it. You know, have you seen the same things, like this trend of palm color people coming out, no this, you know, but at the same time when the reality hits, they're the first ones to leave you to fend for yourselves? I don't know, I've experienced that before. Okay, that's a story for another video. Do you think this shift is real or just performative? Either way, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and thank you for showing up. I appreciate you, you know, you watching my video, you know, the entire video. I'm please asking you if you can share, you know, subscribe, like this video. I don't know why my videos are being suppressed by YouTube, so I'll appreciate it so much if you can just share my videos, you know, turn on that notification bell if you haven't already, and I'll definitely see you in my next video. Please stay peaceful.